The Greek Fire. Constantinople, 678 AD. Arab fleets surround the greatest city in the Christian world. Thousands of warships prepare for the final assault. The Byzantine Empire is about to fall. Then the sea itself catches fire. Greek fire was the ancient world's equivalent of a nuclear weapon, a liquid flame that couldn't be extinguished by water. In fact, water made it burn hotter. The Byzantines would load it into bronze tubes mounted on their ships, pump it out under pressure, and ignite it. The result was a jet of fire that could reach enemy vessels from dozens of meters away. When it hit the water, it didn't go out, it spread. Imagine being an Arab sailor watching the waves between the ships turn into an inferno. Your own attempts to douse the flames with seawater only make them more intense. Men jump overboard to escape the burning decks, only to find the water itself is on fire. The chemical formula was so secret that only the Byzantine emperor and the imperial chemists knew it. It was passed down through generations under penalty of death. We still don't know exactly what Greek fire was made of. Modern historians think it was probably a combination of petroleum, quicklime, sulfur, and naphtha, but we can't be certain. The weapon saved Constantinople multiple times over 6 centuries. Without it, the Byzantine Empire would have fallen hundreds of years earlier. The Claw of Archimedes. Syracuse, 214 BC. The Roman Republic, the most powerful military force in the Mediterranean, lays siege to this Sicilian city. They have superior numbers, better trained soldiers, and the full might of Rome behind them. What they don't have is Archimedes. The famous mathematician had been asked by the king of Syracuse to defend the city, and he built something that sounds like science fiction. The Claw of Archimedes was a giant crane-like arm with a grappling hook. When Roman ships got close to the city walls, operators would swing the claw out over the water. The hook would grab the bow of the ship, then the crane would lift it, straight up, out of the water. The ship would be suspended vertically in the air, seawater pouring from the deck, sailors and soldiers falling off. Then the operators would drop it. The ship would crash back down, sometimes capsizing, sometimes breaking apart, always becoming combat ineffective. The Roman commander, Marcus Claudius Marcellus, was so terrified of these devices that he stopped all naval assaults. His soldiers refused to approach the walls. If they saw so much as a piece of rope or wood appear over the battlements, they would flee, shouting that Archimedes was about to launch some new engine of war against them. Rome eventually took Syracuse, but only after a 2-year siege, and only after Archimedes was killed by a Roman soldier. The Burning Mirrors. Let's stay with Archimedes for a moment, because the claw wasn't his only terrifying invention. According to several ancient sources, Archimedes also built a solar weapon, arrays of bronze or copper mirrors precisely angled to focus sunlight into a concentrated beam. When Roman ships came within range, operators would aim these mirrors at the sails and wooden hulls. Within minutes, the focused light would ignite fires that could consume an entire vessel. For centuries, historians dismissed this as legend. It seemed physically impossible. But in 1973, a Greek scientist named Ioannis Sakas decided to test it. He lined up 70 mirrors on a beach near Athens, each held by a different person, all aimed at a wooden boat 50 meters away. Within seconds, the wood began to smoke. Within minutes, flames appeared. The experiment has been repeated multiple times since. The results are always similar. The Korean Turtle Ship. Korea, 1592. Japan invades with a massive fleet of warships, planning to conquer the peninsula and then move on to China. They have superior numbers, better trained samurai. What they encounter instead is Admiral Yi Sun-sin and his turtle ships. The Gyobuk-san, or turtle ship, was an ironclad warship that predated European ironclads by 270 years. The deck was covered with a curved wooden roof plated with iron, with metal spikes protruding from the top. This made it impossible for enemies to board, which was the primary naval tactic of the era. But the real genius was the offensive capability. The ship had cannons pointing in every direction, including the dragonhead prow. That decorative dragonhead wasn't just for show. It contained a cannon and could also emit a sulfur-based smokescreen that concealed the ship's movements while terrifying Japanese sailors who believed a sea monster was attacking them. The turtle ships were faster than Japanese vessels and could ram them without fear of being boarded. In the Battle of Hansan Island, Admiral Yi used just 13 turtle ships to destroy or capture over 130 Japanese vessels. The Japanese admiral committed suicide after the defeat. Admiral Yi fought 23 naval battles and won all 23. The turtle ships were so effective that Japan never managed to establish reliable naval supply lines, and their invasion ultimately failed. The repeating crossbow. China, 4th century BC. While European armies are still using simple bows, Chinese engineers developed something that won't reappear in Europe for over 1,000 years, a semi-automatic weapon. The Chupo Nu, or repeating crossbow, had a rectangular magazine on top that held 10 bolts. The operator would push a lever back and forth, and each motion would load, fire, and cock the weapon in one smooth action. A skilled user could empty all 10 bolts in 15 seconds. This was revolutionary. Normal crossbows were powerful, but slow to reload, requiring the user to manually pull back the string, place the bolt, and aim. The Chuko Nu sacrificed some power and range, but made up for it with volume of fire. A unit of soldiers with repeating crossbows could create a continuous stream of projectiles that was devastating against charging infantry. The weapon remained in use in the Chinese military for over 1,500 years. The flying fire spears of China. China, 10th century AD. The Song dynasty faces invasion from northern tribes. Their engineers developed something the world has never seen before. The Huaqiang, or fire lance, started as a bamboo tube packed with gunpowder attached to a spear. When ignited, it would shoot flames and sparks several meters, functioning as a flamethrower. But engineers quickly realized they could put the gunpowder inside a paper or bamboo tube, seal one end, and create thrust. The Mongols encountered these weapons during their invasion of China and quickly adopted the technology, spreading it across their empire. European armies first faced these weapons during Mongol raids into Poland and Hungary in the 1240s. The accounts described flying fire and thunder that came from the sky that killed men and horses. If you're fascinated by the incredible stories from history, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thanks for